What's going on, you guys? We are headed to LAX to pick up another shipment. Today is Indonesia. Not a really big one. I got a couple pre-orders. That's gonna consume probably the lion's share of the shipment. My local buyers, they kind of slept on this one. I don't know if they just forgot to send me their orders after I noticed them, or maybe they don't need anything because the last shipment wasn't too long ago. So anyway, there are some animals that are coming to me. We are getting some of the blood pythons that we handpicked on the farm when we were there last December, I guess it was. They're kind of trickling in little by little. So kind of excited to see a couple of those bloods. We're getting some green tree pythons, a couple localities, and a couple other little miscellaneous things here and there, but we will show you what we're getting. Today is a little bit different. Not really seeing any traffic, so hopefully our drive times are short. I need to repack 2 boxes, get them to FedEx before cutoff. Normally that's not too big of a rush job, but today it is going to be a rush job because our shipment came on a different flight, and it had the flight was landing later than usual. Normally our flights are landing in the wee hours of the morning. This one landed at about just a hair after 10 a.m. So we have to give China Airlines at least like 3 hours to get the cargo to the cargo warehouse. Then we go through inspection, and then we'll jump on the freeway, get home, and that hopefully will leave us with a solid 2 hours to repack and get to FedEx. And we'll see how it all goes. But if you guys don't click off the video and you want to see some animals, you definitely are going to see some animals in this video. And that's about it. Let me get back to focus on my driving, and we will come at you again in a moment. All right. We're gonna do the paperwork inside the office, and you know, sometimes that this ramp is crowded, I have to wait in line, but I got the ramp, so everything's going smooth. So that was a rough trip to the airport, you guys. U.S. Fish and Wildlife had an issue with 2 of the species that were on my CITES permits. We've been doing the same exact shipments the same way with the same documentation. One of the inspectors took issue with some of the details on the CITES permit. We're going to try to rectify that documentation problem. The problem is that Indonesia is doing its due diligence to make sure that the genus and the species and everything is correct in their database. And U.S. Fish and Wildlife didn't agree with the most recent name change. And so even though it's been going smoothly for I don't know how many years, for some reason on Thursday it was an issue. They did confiscate 5 pythons out of my boxes. I did write a letter, I did write a rebuttal, and I don't know if that's what prompted the release of my animals back to me the next day, or maybe the supervisor reviewed it and kind of realized that you know, the efforts were made to properly identify those animals, and the issue may or may not have been justified. I'm not sure. Maybe a combination of my letter and somebody actually reviewing it prompted the release of those animals. But anyway, we did have to make a second trip to the airport on Friday, but we got the animals back, and the animals were actually in cages and properly cared for during that one night stay. So I was happy about that, and the animals were actually really nice. So anyway, that was a little bit of a hang up. Like I said, I'm going to try to rectify that problem, not only for me in the future, but for other importers. A lot of the importers, like, we don't talk, we don't work together as a team. So I'm not even going to bother trying to reach out and tell them what's going on. I'm just going to try to fix it. If I'm successful, it'll help me and it'll help them inadvertently. They probably won't even know it. But anyway, that's what's going on. So most of the animals in that shipment, like I told you guys, it was a pre-order. A lot of those animals went out. Very little was left for me. Just some small green tree pythons and some things. I'm going to show you a couple animals that I got that I think are pretty cool and video worthy. And then this is going to end up being kind of a video update. I'm going to pair up some green tree pythons tonight. So I want to show you guys the parental stock that I'm going to be pairing together. And I want to start real quick because my eyes just noticed it. My yellow anaconda, I moved them to a different cage, but the male has stopped breeding and she is either ovulating or has already ovulated. You can see the lines in between those scales. When I see those racing lines, those lines there, I usually know that the distension is significant and there's something going on. And the male actually stopped breeding her, so that is a really good sign. So I think this one is done. And so now I'm going to be working on the other female. So just a little bit of an update from the previous video. And anyway, let me get back and show you guys some animals from Indonesia. All right, so Papuan olive. This was one of the animals that was in the middle of that controversy. Is it Apodora? Is it Lyasis? Yeah, we got a little bit of a lesson on that, on what that is now, how it matches up with CITES. But anyway, this is one of the animals that came in the shipment. Very, very calm animal. Hasn't shown any effort to bite, and it's actually pretty big. It's a female. Doesn't look super big until it stretches out, and this animal is probably a good 7 feet or so. So pretty cool, really interesting species of snake. I like working with these. These are really nice. This one is going to be for sale. It's not something that I'm going to be working with. I'm trying to cut my projects back a little bit and try to focus on some of the other stuff. So anyway, Papuan olive python. Pretty neat stuff. And I got the chicks thawing. These guys love chicks. They'll eat rats, but I found that from the get-go, the chicks are really the preferred food item. And then once you kind of help them get acclimated with the food that they can't resist, then you can start switching them over. It's usually not a big deal, but they seem to not be able to resist chicks. So I got a bag of frozen thawing out, and we'll give it a try later. All right. Okay, we got 2 Borneo blood pythons, or Borneo short-tailed pythons, I believe is the more appropriate common name. Python Breitensteini. This was one of the ones that we handpicked on the farm. Super, super pretty. Pretty much in the market, what's dominating is the Brongersmai and the Python Curtis, the black bloods. So you got the red bloods and the black bloods. And then this is a Borneo short-tailed python. I'm wearing the gloves because these guys are crazy. It's acting cool right now, but so far in the cage and stuff has been, these 2 snakes have been acting nuts. So I'm definitely got the gloves on. But they've already eaten rats. I fed everything yesterday, and both of these specimens took rats. I'm not going to sex them for at least probably another few days. Let them digest that rat, and then we'll disturb them by doing our probing routine here. But anyway, something that I haven't seen very much of. Really, really pretty, and yeah, kind of hoping that it's a pair, but we'll see. I got lucky on the last batch of bigger blood pythons. It was kind of an even ratio, so hopefully this is also the same. All right, so tonight's the night that I'm going to do 2 pairings of my green tree pythons. Some stuff that I've been working on, kind of getting it up to speed, getting the females up to weight. And I brought them all down here. I keep them in these big CB80 tubs. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to pair these 2 to each other. This is a designer male that was produced here in Southern California by a breeder. Has the pedigree, the bloodlines, and the whole bit. Super, super beautiful. It was a red Neo, and when I got it, it had already that weird kind of sea green modeling in it, and then as it grew, it just started taking on lots of blue. And it's a really unique green tree python, very strange looking, but super beautiful. And there's a lot of blue coming out. It seems to just continually come out. Super, super nice. So I'm tempted to breed this male with this female. This female came off the farm. It's kind of somewhat undocumented animal, but to me, I believe it's a biak, but it is kind of like a blue biak. There's a lot of blue in this animal. It's a big girl, and I think it's going to make kind of an interesting pairing. I believe, I never even really looked at it. This was a red Neo as well, I can tell. I can see the remnants of the dorsal diamonds. So, and also the attitude is there of a biak, so that kind of helps convince me a little bit on the possible lineage. But I think this is going to make a really nice pairing. So then over here, I'm going to do this pairing. This one is going to be sort of more of a locality directed pairing. This is female sarong type. I've had her for a while. She was about half that size when I got her. As you can see, she's nice and fat and has lots of blue dorsal diamonds. So that's kind of the direction that this hopeful attempt in pairing will take. And I am going to use this male right here. You may have seen this male in our Instagram. He is super, super nice looking. Also, very, very nice, vivid blue dorsal diamonds down the back. And we're gonna see what happens. I did my feeding yesterday, so if any of the breeding causes any loss of appetite, at least they're very well fed and they're in super good shape and condition. And we'll see what happens. I fed the males small. I fed the females a little bit more than normal. And yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. I've never really deployed these big CB80 tubs before for the green tree pythons, but I can tell you the animals are performing really well in these boxes. The boxes hold humidity really well. They're pretty sanitary, easy to keep clean, easy to change the water bowls. Just, you know, the animals don't come off the perches. You can just take them out and set them wherever, get in there and change your water bowl. I made these perches myself. This is just one of those stupid little DIY projects. Just go to Home Depot or Lowe's and just buy all your T-joints and your caps and your PVC, and then you just need a PVC cutter. It just takes minutes to erect these and put them together. So that's pretty much how I've been doing it. And I have more green tree pythons, of course, that I've been raising from babies. They're not quite adult breeder size yet, haven't been sexed yet, but they're getting, you know, they're well into that size range, and I've just been putting it off. But I'll get around to sexing them soon. But anyway, that's a little bit of the green tree python stuff that I'm going to be playing with this season. And tonight's going to be the first introductions. So that's pretty much it. All right, you guys, so that was just a little bit of an update, kind of combining a few different things in this video. But anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. We have Malaysia coming up next. I don't know if that's coming this upcoming week or the week after, but I'll show you guys what comes, because there's going to be some really unique, weird, oddball animals in that shipment as well. And then we're just kind of gearing up and ramping up for the Del Mar show. So that's about it. Thank you for watching. Enjoy what's left of your weekend. We'll see you again soon in the next video. See you guys.